This is MediaBistro.com's Media Beat. Welcome to you, and welcome to our guest, Jay Lauf, the Vice President and Publisher of The Atlantic. Can you tell us about a mistake that you made in your career and how you grew from it? I think now a lot of people are going through layoffs, they're being fired, or they're just having troubles and need something to keep them going. So was there ever a time in your career or in your life where you made a mistake and maybe at the time you thought it was the worst thing ever, but you learned from it and grew?
Yes. I think I made a mistake. I started out in the trade magazine realm for many years and was a group publisher at a group of small gift trade magazines. And I wanted to take a step out and jumped onto a company that I didn't investigate very carefully, a privately held company. And it wasn't a great fit for me. And after being at the first place for nearly 10 years, and I'd been at Wired for 7, I'm clearly not a job hopper. After about 6 months, realized it was the wrong thing, and it was a hard thing to reconcile. On the one hand, I feel that again I'm dedicated to to the people that hired me. I have an obligation to them. On the other hand, I think you wrestle with, oh God, I made a bad decision. I don't want to accept that. So I left after about 8 months, and it was it wasn't what I wanted to do, and it was difficult. But what I learned from that is 2 things. One, it was worth taking the chance because that led to a greater opportunity on the other side of that move. Number one. Number 2, I wasn't going to be able to give this employer my best, and I didn't think it was fair to him. It wasn't fair to me, and I'll stick by that thinking.
As you mentioned, you left Wired to come to The Atlantic. Can you take us back to that time where you were contemplating leaving? How did you know that was the right time to step out?
Yeah. I think it's for me, it's a quite unique story, I think, in the sense that The Atlantic is my longest standing personal subscription. So when they called me while I was the publisher at Wired, a job that certainly there was no reason to leave. It was 2007. The magazine was as hot as can be, as it was ascendant. That caught my ear first, is that The Atlantic was a long-time favorite of mine. I think once it became an interesting business proposition, the rest of it, I took a look back at what I had done at Wired for 7 years with a whole team of people from the time I arrived in 01 to 07, and we had gone from the dot-com rubble where the question every sales call was, come on, you're the next red herring or industry standard, you're going out of business next, aren't you, to being on Adweek's hot list. I felt like, okay, I've maybe accomplished all I can here, and for somebody to come in with a completely new point of view might benefit Wired, and I was ready to obviously make the other move. So I think I have no regrets about it, for me or for Wired, which is a brand I still love and respect, and I think that they're going to come out of this end of the economic chute in pretty good shape as well.
What's your advice for others who might be in a situation where they're contemplating leaving, or is this the right time for me to move on? What would be some tips you would give?
Yeah. The biggest tip I can give that I think really matters is give it your all every day up until the ride ends, whether it's a title folds or you decide it's not the right thing and you move on or whatever, because you never want to burn a bridge. And I think 2 things. One is your employers, the people that you're going to use as references will continue to say good things about you if you've given it your all right up to the end of whatever that stretch is, number 1. And number 2, you owe it to yourself. I think when you wake up every day and you take stock in, what am I doing? We all work very hard. If you haven't given it your all, I just don't think that's a great feeling. So that's the best advice I think I can give. And the minute you feel like you can't, which I did in that example I gave you, it's time to make a move.
All right, you've been watching MediaBistro.com's Media Beat. Thank you so much, Jay Lauf, Vice President and Publisher of The Atlantic, for joining us. Great conversation. Make sure you go get The Atlantic if you haven't already. Really good articles in there.
Appreciate it.
This has been MediaBistro.com's Media Beat.